we listened to the call yesterday with regards to your most recent announcement with regards to rare earths, getting into the rare earths business. Can you just talk us through that? What's the idea? Why rare earths?
Look, first of all, we're very excited about this new opportunity for us, Matt. As I've said on the call, we're first and foremost a uranium producer, and that's the key focus of the business. But like vanadium and some of the other business opportunities that we're always progressing, we had a lot of inbound calls from various parties that either had rare earth projects or other sources of rare earth or the U.S. government, and it came a point where we couldn't turn our head to it. The White Mesa Mill was so uniquely suited with our ability to handle some of these streams, particularly those that have uranium content, and we have a facility that can handle this low-level material, which is a real problem for other people, but they're not a problem for us. So we decided to put out that press release. We mentioned it a few weeks ago that we were looking at it. And as I said, we would not have done that release and not be pushing this if we didn't think this had some real opportunities secondary to the uranium business for us.
So this isn't just window dressing, something to say, just kind of keep your name out there. This is a serious commercial venture.
Absolutely. It's not window dressing. And I actually think that a lot of the other uranium guys are quite envious that we have some of this optionality. And as I said, we're not trying to brand ourselves other than first and foremost a uranium company, but this is a real opportunity. And there is a lot of uranium tied up in rare earths around the world. And why not? Why not, if we're at a head start to, most people, that we have this facility. Some of these rare earth opportunities, can't be developed because of the uranium content. They can't get the permits to process those ores. I think you're seeing, some backlashes with some of the larger rare earth producers in the world. I won't mention one of them, but they have a facility that they're getting a lot of backlash from a number of NGOs. And I don't wish harm on anybody, but we have a facility that's got 40 years of history dealing with these types of materials at White Mesa.
Okay, I don't think it's a secret that I like the fact that you have got experience in producing and selling uranium into the market, and the other component, and you've got cash. I think maybe you got lucky, or maybe it was good foresight on your part to raise the cash when you did, but it's certainly very useful for you now. But the third thing which I liked was the mill. Now, if I'm a shareholder, I'm going to like this a lot. If I'm invested in one of your other companies, one of your other competitor companies, I probably don't like it so much. But I need to understand what the mill is capable of. It's an extremely large mill. You've got a series of licenses on it. So maybe let's start with that. What is it licensed to do?
Okay, well, look, it's primarily licensed to treat uranium ores and vanadium ores. But, over the course of the last 20 years or so, we've taken a number of other feed streams that we've had permits to receive. And most of those are, low-level natural uranium streams that could come from a number of things, like, for example, resins from water treatment plants. We've received material from other uranium producers. We've received streams from some of the conversion facilities and whatnot, and recover the uranium from those streams. So we have the ability to take a number of streams. I think we have license amendments for 17 currently streams other than just primary ores. And we have taken some of those streams from other rare earth producers in the past and recovered uranium from those streams. So this is not new to us. But what is, the advantage, it's a large mill, it's about 2,000 tons per day, but most of these rare earth streams are going to be much smaller than that. So we don't need the full capacity of the mill to enter this business.
Okay, so and a few things I want you to explain there. So I'll come back to the rare earths component in a second. But when you say these streams, so you've got 17 licenses for different types of streams feeding into the mill. Does that mean that these streams operate concurrently with each other, or do they? How do you set the mill up to run different streams at the same time?
Well, we usually do it on a batch basis. So we'll accumulate some of this material maybe for 6 months or a year or two, and then we'll do a run on that material through the mill. We actually at the mill we have the front end of the mill that you can process some of this material through, but we also have a separate alternate feed circuit that can enter the mill in a different location or locations. So it's very flexible, Matt, and I think I've told you before, it's really the reason the White Mesa Mill has survived the test of time is because of the foresight of the people owning the mill to make sure that it was as flexible as possible. So, this is not new, and it's been a good secondary business for the facility for decades. And we plan to expand that. I think I've said that historically it's probably been a $5 to say $15 million a year business, but I don't see any reason it cannot be $50 million a year. Who knows? Maybe more, maybe $100 million a year, extra business in addition to uranium production.
Okay, so we've talked in the past about uranium and vanadium, and people want to understand that should go and look at those videos. So let's get on to the rare earths component here. So rare earths, by definition, are rare. So therefore, they have a high value and potentially high margin. So and I don't know how much work you've done on this, but you're looking at multiple sources of feed. How would those arrangements work? Are they JVs with people? Are they just commissioning you to just process their ore and they take all the upside? How do you make money?
Well, look, that's it's still early days, as I said on the call yesterday. We're mainly looking at it from a toll processing perspective. We're also going to be evaluating a number of opportunities that are presenting themselves to find, which streams that are out there that we can process. One of the things with multiple streams is it may require, different processing equipment and different sizing of equipment. So it's very early stages, but, we're looking at initially as a toll processing arrangement, but it could be something else. We mentioned in the call that we weren't planning to, become a miner of rare earths, but again, we'll just take it a step at a time and see where it leads us. But the key bit is that we're not going to lose our capability at White Mesa for processing uranium and vanadium. It's likely that we would have a separate circuit that would be literally bolted on to the facility. Typically you're not talking the tonnages that we'd have from processing traditional ores. So as I said, it's early days, but we're very excited. And the fact that we have the facility, we have the permits, we have the tailings areas that are state of the art, designed for 1,000 years, triple lined. We have 2 cells that have a lot of capacity, and we've been permitting 2 additional cells. So we've been looking far down the path here.
Okay.
And as I said, we're very excited about this, Matt.
No, I get it, and I get that it's early days, but I wondered why you'd made the announcement now, and therefore how much do you know? Because being able to bolt on a circuit and process presumably much lower volume of ore. Is that the case? You did sort of indicate that a second ago. Like by what quantum?
No, we could be very small quantums. Instead of a facility that can process 700,000 tons per year, you could be talking 5,000 tons, 10, 20,000 tons, very small quantities relative to what you'd process through the uranium circuit.
Right, but the margins are high because the value is high.
Yeah, a lot of it. Some of the material may have been pre-concentrated may not be. Yeah, look, at the reason we made the announcement is that there were so many inbound calls. I mean, literally dozens and dozens of calls here of people saying, do you know what you have? Do you know what a big role White Mesa could play in this space? And I was going from call after call. So we couldn't turn our head to it. And again, that's one of the best opportunities when people are calling you and saying, we think this facility could play a role. Now, I don't talk in absolutes because we've got to take it a step at a time. But the market seemed to react positively to it. Now, we've had a number of different factors over the last few days. The price of uranium is going up. This supply disruption because of COVID-19. And then we added this, so we've had a lot of interest in the stock, a lot of volume. We're still getting, even after that call, a lot of inbounds from other people because of that call.